guys, I'm Zoe from Zoe's Fancy Cakes, and in today's video I want to show you how I made my Mirabelle cake from my new favourite film, Encanto. Right, let's start. I'm going to start with a template. So I've just printed off the picture of her that I want, roughly the size of the cake that I've got. I'm not going to do all this background. The flowers are nice, maybe we'll add some flowers at the end. The glasses we need to make first. So I'm taking some modelling paste. I've got the light green Saracino one here, and I'm putting it in an extruder. You don't need an extruder, guys. You can do this by hand if you prefer, but it gives me a nicer straight line. Now for the glasses, I need to make sure I'm putting it in a circle. So I'm going to use something that's a circular shape. So I'm actually using one of my molds. This is my Gemma head mold, guys. I don't know if you've seen my videos with those, but just something that you've got a circle as a guidance, same kind of size as the glasses in the picture. And I've got these blue little sprinkles, which I thought might look quite nice to stick on her little earrings. I'm going to roll a ball of modelling paste in blue, just popping it on a cocktail stick, covering it in piping gel, and then we're going to dip it in these tiny blue sprinkles. I want 2 of these, and we'll put them to one side to dry for later. Now I'm starting with a rectangular board, and I've got some rectangles of cake. We're just going to sandwich them together with a little bit of chocolate buttercream here. Now my cake looks stiff, that's because it's actually partially frozen still. I have had this one in the freezer. So I'm using now my template to cut around the cake, and then I'll start cutting pieces of the template off and cutting other bits out of the cake, so around the hair, around the face, just building up a bit more cake there for her shoulder. I'm gonna cut out the eye holes and a little mark where the nose is, a mouth even. And then let's cut a little bit more detail now. So curving down the sides of the face, and then let's start to cut in some little sort of curved lines for the hair, just so it's not completely flat when we cover it in buttercream and fondant later. I'm going to cut a bit deeper now in the eyes. Let's stick a tiny offcut on for the nose. Then we're going to cover the whole thing in buttercream. Now you can use buttercream or chocolate ganache. I'm going to use buttercream for this one so that it stays nice and soft under my fondant, so if I need to push down firmly on the fondant to make more indentations, I can do that easily. So I've got some colour left from the Hey Dougie cake that I made the other day, and I'm mixing it with some peach. I'm going for it's actually quite an orangey colour skin tone that I'm giving her, and I'm just cutting out the fondant in the shape of like her neck and her face. You can cut out a little bit more than you need, because we can cut any extra bits off, and then we're just gently pressing that down into like the eye socket area and up to the hairline. I'm just going to use my Dresden tool to sort of push in a little bit deeper around the edge, and a balling tool to just press in where those eyes are going to go. Press a little bit firmer under the nose area, and give the nostrils, sort of above the nostrils even, a bit of a shape, and then we're going to poke the nostrils underneath the nose in there. So let's just press a little indentation either side of her mouth. I actually went way too wide with her mouth on this one. Even though I used my template, by the time I finished, I didn't get the mouth quite right. I did struggle a bit with that mouth. So I've marked it in with a template, and then I'm trying to hollow out the middle just a little bit so that we've got a gap where the teeth are going to go. And I'm trying to lift the fondant up where the lip would be at the top. And again, the same kind of thing for the bottom lip. Now I'm just going to put a bit more paste under there just so that it lifts the lip and holds it up and out in place. Same with the top. And I'm going to put a small piece of white in there for her teeth. And I'm trying to look at my picture so I can see where all the lines for the teeth are going to go and sort of the shape of that white piece. So I'm just pressing them in with my Dresden tool. I'm going to put a bit of white fondant just over that shoulder. So I'm going to try and roll that fairly thin. And then we're going to roll another piece of white fondant, and we're going to just curve the edges like she has on sort of the edging of her dress. I'm going to put that down over the top of that other one. Now, I'm going to try and move the edges around a little bit so they look a bit more floaty. Just press a little bit into the neck. And then I've got some dark brown fondant that we're going to press on for the hair. And we're just going to go from the parting over to one side, pressing it down. And I'm going to try and feel for the bits of the cake that kind of cut out underneath. Just going to block in that bit above her shoulder with a bit of brown paste as well. And let's just put another little piece here, the other side of her neck. Then we're going to draw lines in. So I'm just going to draw the hairlines in. And you can create individual sort of loose curls as well that we just coil up and put in place. And I'm going to just add some dust before we move on to the other side of the hair. I'm going to put a bit of pink on for cheeks, a little bit on the forehead. We're going to lighten sort of the end of the nose and just going up the bridge of the nose a little bit as well. So I'm using some white powder on there. And again, I'm looking at my picture for anywhere that looks lighter in colour, and I'm just adding the powder to those parts. And then we're going to darken it as well. So it's kind of like a terracotta colour that I've got that I'm going to darken it with. And I'm just using my petal palettes for this because there's quite a few different colours on there, but you can use the loose powders. They're all edible, these ones, guys. So you can see I'm darkening it quite a bit now, really looking at my picture for where all the shaded, shadowed areas are. And I'm even using some brown just to darken those areas. Then we're going to try colour the lip. Now I'm using dry powder again, and I'm using a bit of red and brown for the lips. And let's just put a little bit of black between the teeth. I'm going to go back over those lips again. Now they actually look a bit darker on camera than they do in real life. I maybe should have toned down the powder a little bit on those lips. Now I'm going to move on to the eyes. So I've got some white fondant that I've just cut out to the shape of my templates. I've put the white fondant in to the place of her eye sockets, and then we're just going to put some brown powder just around that top edge. We're going to then paint on eyelashes, and I'm using my black fractal powder mixed with a bit of Rejuvenator Spirit. Adding that on, and then I'm trying to paint on her little stitching line on her outfit. I don't know if I like that, so we'll go back to that. I'll just finish the other eye first. I'll finish the eyelashes on the other eye. Now for the eyes themselves, I've got some leftover skin tone colour, rolled it nice and thin, and I've cut out 2 circles, and then also 2 circles in black. We've put some darker brown powder, just so the edible powder, just around the outer edges. And then I'm just going to paint on a little bit of black as well, just to darken that even more. And then sort of drag that black, or you can use dark brown, in a little bit with a brush. Let's press that in place. Same for that one. Now if you need to wait for them to dry a bit before you push them in, that's fine. Stick a white dot in each one to give the eyes a bit of sparkle. Then we're going to roll and cut some eyebrows. So again, using the template for a bit of a guide. We're going to texture those with a modeling tool. Now let's finish the hair just by covering that other side. And again, putting big waves in. So wavy lines with that Dresden tool. And curl them up a little bit at the ends. Just going to pop her earrings in. Let's make some more loose curls. So roll it flat, put some lines in, and then we can curl it up. Put a few of these on. Now, I didn't want to do the whole head with this because it would be a lot of fondant to put all the loose curls on. So I'm just putting a few just around the outer edge of her face. And then let's position those glasses. So she starts coming to life a bit more when we've got the glasses in place. I think she just needs another piece of hair. I'm just going to use, again, I've got some leftover skin tone. I've just put a piece across between 2 sides of the glasses. And then I'm using some gold edible food colour to just paint on that middle bit and edges. And then what we're going to do is take the black food colour in the black powder that we have, mix it with some dip-in solution or Rejuvenator Spirit, or you can use clear alcohol. And I'm just going to dilute that down quite a bit and paint that between sort of the pieces of hair. And that should drip into the cracks or lines that you've drawn on there to just darken them a bit. I've just rolled thin some green for the background, just to cover the board. And then I'm going to highlight the hair by using some white powdered colour, food colour, mixed with my Rejuvenator Spirit, which is all edible, guys. This is all edible stuff. And I'm just putting it on the hair, on the bits of hair that I think the light would reflect on. Now, I'm just having a go with the pen for drawing on her dress rather than the food colour that I was painting with earlier. I'm not sure which one I found easier, actually, guys. The pen was maybe easier for doing the little butterflies, although I didn't do them overly neat. But you do need your fondant to firm up a little bit before you use the pen, whereas when I painted it on with the brush, it didn't matter too much. So look at your picture for guidance when you're drawing on the little pattern. Let's just add a bit of colour to the board. I'm just using some pink and purple dusts on there. And I've got a little assortment of flower plunger cutters here. So I'm going to do some nice sort of pastel pinks and purples. We'll cut out a few little blossoms and sort of daisy shapes. Let's just stretch out the petals a little bit. Let's put these together. And we're just going to push those then onto the board. And you could just have a couple, or you could have loads of these. Whatever takes your fancy. I'm not sure if I like the flowers too much, so I'm not going to do loads of them. But I think what she does need is that little butterfly that's made out of wool or thread of some kind. So I'm going to make that by extruding some fuchsia coloured modelling paste. I folded it around my fingers and then we push it together in the middle. Then I'm going to press down where the black sort of centre of the butterfly is going to go. So we'll just put a bit of black paste down the middle of that butterfly. And we're sticking it on the board because her other shoulder isn't in shot for it to go on her shoulder, but I felt it needed to go on there somewhere. So there she is, all finished. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to give the video a like and check out some of my other videos. As always, I do like to see what you guys have made. So feel free to tag me in your creations from my videos on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks for watching.
If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and more.